Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's your Friday Football Live. Matt Fargo, Mark Lawrence, Sean Higgs coming at you here. Powered by Gamblers World. We're going to get to, we're going to talk to Mark what he thinks about his Cleveland Browns moving on from Stefanski. Some coaching changes in the works. Miami got rid of their guy. We'll talk about that. We'll recap. We'll talk about the Canes pulling out a miracle last night. No flag. They swallowed the flags at the end. We'll get into that one. But right now, I want you to hit the like button, share, subscribe, notification bell on. So you know each and every day. Well, only a couple more to Football Friday Lives us, but plenty of free picks for you here. Monday through Sunday, every single day. Someone was asking, where's Chip? Listen, Chip is he's too big for his britches. He can't come into a live show. He's a taped guy. He's the tape guy on the weekends. He's the Vegas legend Saturday, Sunday. On Monday, me, him, and Doug Upstone. But Chip, there's plenty of Chip videos out here. Carfuse. You can check out Chip Chirimis on the videos here as well. And not just Chip, but Mark, Matt, myself, Brian Bittler, Alex Smart. And that's just weekly. It's like kind of Vegas legends, a little rotating cast of characters with Chip is great to watch. So we got you covered here with plenty of free picks, NBA, college hoops. We'll be taking center stage. That's the only way it's going to be. We're running out of football. East-West Shrine game. I don't know how much action we're going to be talking about that one, but it's winding down. You want the best bets, our top plays for tonight's Peach Bowl. You want wild card winners for the weekend for the next 3 days, head on over to gamblersworld.net. Super Bowl package up right now. Every NFL winner through wild card, divisional round, and the Super Bowl for just $129. You just like NFL? That's your package. It's selective. Sport laser beamed on it. Just NFL. Listen, though. And you got college football tonight, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The weekly pass is probably where you want to be right now. I'm just saying, get all your football and your hockey and basketball included in that. 7-day package is guaranteed, shows you a profit, we credit your back. Or do it a 30-day. I'm just saying. Those are guaranteed packages, and they're all sports. It's not just one. You want one sport? We got you covered on that. But we try to make your dollar work here, folks, right? I mean, we want to save your money while making your money. All-inclusive packages, I think, are a tad little bit better for you to jump in on. That being said, let's talk about your Cleveland Browns. I'm a Stefanski guy, Mark. So you get rid of him, but you keep the GM. Is it his fault you got 9 quarterbacks on the roster and none of them are a quarterback? I mean, what is their game plan going at? Who's going there? Who wants to go to Cleveland?
Well, there aren't too many National Football League head coaching jobs for openers, so I'm sure somebody would want to come and try and maybe resurrect that program. I was a little bit surprised too. Wins Coach of the Year honors, 2 of the last 5 years or whatever it was. But I know Jimmy Haslam, and he does not know football. All he's concerned about is give me that W, and give me that W, and he wasn't getting W's. The program is in total disarray since Haslam was taking it over. I don't see it getting any better. There's no plan in place. When you let a coach like that go, it's generally because you have something better in the oven and a better plan. And there's no word out of Cleveland what that is going to be or who it's going to be or what even the plan is. So I think it's dysfunctional. I really, truly do. I don't think Stefanski will be out of a job very long. He's number 2 on the hit list, I think, right now of all the coaches that are available behind John Harbaugh. So, I'm not going to bleed for Stefanski. He's making some pretty good money, even if he never coaches again. But it's all about the ownership in Cleveland, Jimmy Haslam, and he does not know what he's doing.
You told me as an AFC North coach is getting fired, I'm thinking of Zach Taylor before anybody. Then maybe Tomlin. Then maybe Stefanski, and then Harbaugh last. And then we got the top 2 guys who are probably Exon, and those guys are 2 probably best cats out the door. Just incredible stuff, Matt. Let's be honest. Harbaugh is going to go down to Miami. I mean, they fire Harbaugh, and then Miami gets rid of their guy the next day. Not when everybody else got fired. No. Harbaugh's out the door, and they're like, you know what, by the way, I know we talked on Monday, and I was probably sick with you. No, now you're gone. No, forget about it. You could 100% Harbaugh coming down here, and here comes Lamar coming back home to his old stomping grounds in Florida. No, Matt? What do you think?
Possible, yeah. Mark brought up a great point how Cleveland is dysfunctional. We brought this up on Tuesday. The fact that it was the Giants and the Browns fired their head coaches this year, but they kept two dysfunctional general managers, and which I don't understand. And Stefanski is going to get a job as a Giants fan. I assume Harbaugh is going to go to Miami. I thought he would get the GM and coaching position, but this morning I heard that Miami is going to hire another GM. But I'm sure Harbaugh had a say in that. So I think he's going there. And I think Stefanski's going to New York. And honestly, I hope he does. I think he's a great coach. He was surrounded by nothing. He had how many offensive coordinators under him? How many quarterbacks under him? Like he had nothing to work with. He had nothing to work with. So the fact that he takes the blame, it's unfair, but and as you brought up about McDaniel leaving, I could see him going to Cleveland. I've heard rumblings about that. And, the fact that once Harbaugh got fired, they brought McDaniel into the office, like, hey, buddy, you want to step back to be offensive coordinator? No, you're out.
Go ahead, Mark. What did you say?
Well, what I could say is if McDaniel ended up in Cleveland, there'd be a pair there that belong with one another. Jimmy Haslam and Mike McDaniel, because McDaniel is not an NFL head coach either.
He's a great coordinator.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said he's a great coordinator.
He had all the pedigree as an offensive coordinator. We didn't see it in Miami. And as I had pointed out maybe numerous times in the shows, he continually got outcoached in the second half of every game the Miami Dolphins played because the man does not know X's and O's. And it's a chess match with other coaches, and coaches that know what they're doing against a coach that doesn't, he gets drowned. And that's what happened to Mike McDaniel. That and the fact that he can't even speak a legitimate sentence, an understandable sentence. I don't get it. I don't know. I'm not surprised at all about him being fired, but if he paired up in Cleveland, I might have to give up my interest in the Cleveland Browns.
I'm surprised it's still there. Congrats on that.
Matt, you said that Miami's getting rid of their GM. I wasn't sure if they're getting rid of theirs, so they're bringing in.
They got rid of the GM a while ago, and they hired. I don't know who the name is. We're talking.
You know how that works.
Somebody today.
The GM's going to want his coach guy, right? So these guys are going to be scrambling. Like the Giant GM is still there, but
right.
Again, how about if you're Harbaugh, you got the pick of the litter, right? You can sit back and be like, you know what, guys, give me a week to just digest this. This was, and the teams will wait before that. Let's be honest, every team will wait for Harbaugh to land. Hope they can have a shot at him. How about the Bills get bounced? Would they fire? Right? The Bills fire their guy. Does he go there to just say, you know what? I got Josh Allen. I can come down here and beat Baltimore because we play Baltimore every year because we're, top teams. I come down here and teach him a lesson. Like, would he be that spiteful? Like, I shouldn't say that. That is wrong because it's not spiteful. That's if that job's available, that is the best quarterback. I think that's where you go.
Yeah. I don't think it's spite. I think it's just the fact that he knows he has a quarterback who can go down and beat the team that let him go. He didn't want to go. He thought he got the shaft.
Or how about this? And this is what I think. And I've said this before. Hey, Andy, what's your deal? Like, if Andy Reid goes, does he take the Kansas City job because he's got Mahomes in a year?
If Andy Reid leaves Kansas City, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Would you take that job?
Well, that would be obviously only if he decided to retire, not got fired.
Yeah, but Andy Reid could. I mean, Andy Reid's closing on. He's what, 69? I mean, he's going to have no Mahomes for at least 2 months, and you were 6-11 this year, and Mahomes has got worse the last 5 years. His numbers have all come down.
I think he would have retired by now, just out of respect for the organization. If he was going to retire, I think he would have done it by now, so they would have time to get somebody in there, get the best possible prospect to replace him.
I agree with Matt. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving yet. I don't know. Have you heard? I haven't heard anything. Have you heard? Have you heard
No,
something?
I just look at it as like, okay, Kelsey's probably gone. You're off a 6-11 season where you weren't good when you had Mahomes playing these games. He's out for at least 2 months. What? He's going to rush back and then what? Then lose an entire year and a half because you'll get hurt again with a bad. He comes back to be. I'm playing week 1. He gets hurt in week 2. He's out this year and probably next year part of it as well with that injury if it's the same injury.
Yeah,
And then he's coming back at 33. Yeah, that worked out well for Kirk Cousins when you start getting up there. That's a guy who he used to scramble.
I do agree with the fact that next year might be a lost year. Mahomes will not be back to start the year. Like, there's no way that can happen. I don't think he'll be back mid-season.
Good, and I'd rest up. I mean, like, what do you?
Absolutely.
He gets hurt again.
Next year might be a lost season for Reed, so he could retire for that regard. But I think he would have already thought that out and done it by now. If he was,
what if Travis Kelce wants to retire as well? It's all of a sudden all the mice are leaving the ship.
Yeah.
One interesting thing here, guys, is Ryan Dunleavy from the New York Post, and I've done quite a few shows with him. He's a really, really a nice, amiable person. And he wrote a column in the Post today about how the Giants need to go all out for John Harbaugh and that he would be their home run hire. The problem is that he says is that they haven't even talked with him yet, and they won't talk with him until they do the cursory Rooney Rule in the National Football League. They have to interview a couple of black head coaches before they get to him. So, that's kind of what's maybe throttling up a little bit, I guess you'll say, of these immediate hires of these coaches that are out there right now. But his contention is that the New York Giants will go real hard after John Harbaugh.
I mean, I could almost see Tampa Bay firing their coach to try to get after Harbaugh. I mean, there's a lot of teams with like questionable head coaches. If you think that you got a shot, they probably would have did it already. But like, he's the best. I mean, he's really good, Harbaugh. I mean, you can't. What are we gonna say about him? You stay somewhere for 18 years, you got to be winning a little bit to last that long. I want him. I thought Dallas would have a shot at him. Fire their guy, bringing Harbaugh. But the coaching carousel is on us upon us here.
Black Monday fell hard. That's for sure.
Mark, that was a good point about the Rooney Rule. I totally forgot about that. That has to take place, and so it could delay a lot of the hires that have the open positions right now. You're right about that.
Right. Like the Giants have already interviewed Stefanski, but they can't do anything until, they check that box and make it mandatory to do the minority hire interview. So we're not going to see anything here for just a little while until that's done.
And I assume, actually, I can't assume. I know they were thinking about going after Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. So I don't know if they actually had a formal interview. Maybe they did. And if that's the case, they're, I guess, in the clear for the Rooney Rule part of it. But I don't know if that ever happened. I know they showed interest. At least that was a rumor, but I don't know if they actually formally went.
So would it count as an interview if Joe Shane picked up the phone from the Giants and called Marcus Freeman and say, hey, Marcus, we interested in having you join the Giants. Would you be interested? And he said no. Would that suffice and satisfy the Rooney Rule? Just that conversation?
We had that conversation, right?
Yes, it would.
Good. You called the guy. You said you were interested in him. He said no. I'm going to stay at Notre Dame.
Right.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, man. Is going to the Giants? Is that where you want to go? I mean, Stefanski's going from like one quarterback room to another one that might be just as much of a zoo. I mean, you got a guy who's a concussion away from missing 4 games every time he snaps the ball. I don't know.
You're talking about Jackson Tagovailoa? That's what you're talking about? Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a great landing spot for. You want to go into New York is New York, even though they're in New Jersey. You're still under that microscope, and that's where you want to be. I don't know if you're excited about. Yeah, I got a quarterback was in concussion protocol 5 times in 10 weeks. I got a running back coming back from a broken leg that popped out of his skin, and my best wide receiver had his knee dislocated, whatever happened to him, right? I mean, your 3 best offensive players are coming. 2 of them have a serious injury, and the third one is a hit away from being Tua, or just
Sure.
how do you want to go there? I don't want to go there as a coach.
There's other possibilities that are out there also. Nick Sirianni, the Eagles don't win. They're getting fed up with what's going on in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Not hard for Eagles fans to get fed up with what happens in Philadelphia whenever they don't win.
That's a tough one. The guy's been in the Super Bowl, twice?
Right.
He's a game away, from another NFC Championship game, 2 games away or whatever it is. You're going to can the guy. That's a ballsy move. Listen, I'm no lover of Philly. That takes a set on you to get rid of a guy who's brought you championship games and a Super Bowl ring in the last couple of years.
No question about it. What about Matt LaFleur with the Packers? If he doesn't beat the Bears, is he on the hot seat? That's the question in Green Bay here as well. He's got he's 76-40 in his career. He shouldn't be even in the conversation, but would he be if they lose? That's the question.
That's it. Hey, listen, they got rid of who? McCarthy before him, right?
Yes.
That guy at least had he had 1 ring to show for it.
Yeah, I heard the LaFleur thing too, and I really don't get that. And same with Sirianni, I don't get that either. Like, LaFleur hasn't taken him to a Super Bowl or anything like that, but they're proven winners to an extent, and Sirianni more so. And the NBA is the same way. It's win now or you're out in 1 year. The NBA is worse.
I wonder if there's ever been a defending Super Bowl champion head coach that was fired the next year there after that. I don't know if that's ever happened. Maybe resigned, but I don't know about fired.
Yeah. I'd say Jimmy Johnson left. We know that.
Yeah,
he left, right. And then, but that was him on his own accords. Interesting stuff. Let's move on here. So we'll just tap on this last night's game. I had Ole Miss. I think there should have been a flag at the end of the game. I did not get it. Cristobal, again, I couldn't bet Miami or Cristobal, Mark. That guy, he's to me, we're talking X's and O's guys. Maybe it's something in the water down there between the Hurricanes coach and the Dolphins coach. Maybe it's just they got the wacky tobacco and the vapes. Who knows what's going on? I can't back that guy.
Well, they're just enthralled with him right now, as you would imagine, Sean. He's a Miami guy. He's Cuban, from Miami.
He played for the Canes, played for Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, the prodigal son. He came back home. He's got this program turned around. You have to give him his due for what they've done so far this football season here.
He recruits.
Well, locally, a lot in South Florida where there's a lot of talent and very fertile down there. So he gets a lot of that talent, that way with this team. But still, I'm not all that impressed with him. I know he beat Mississippi, and I think Mississippi had them on the ropes, as you mentioned, late in the game here. That final play in the game looked awfully iffy. But bottom line is he's going to be in the championship game, Mario Cristobal. And how ironic would it be if he plays Oregon, his former team that he coached at last, Cristobal against Oregon for the national championship?
Definitely a storybook. They want the ratings and the little stories to it. That is a good tale for sure right there. And again, Cristobal, that was part, as crazy as it is, Mark. I had a double kind of coach chip on my shoulders here. I had them not really loving Lane Kiffin for saying what he said, and they're like, "We're going to win it in spite of you because you said we can't win." And then I got Cristobal, and I just can't get out of my head was it last year, the handoff that was fumbled and brought back for a touchdown they lost. Them being down 37-0 at Cal as 20-point favorites on the road last year, barely winning Virginia Tech. This year's double-digit losses. Like, sometimes he just craps out and doesn't even show up for a game. So I was waiting for that. And I can't, Matt, when I brought it up early at the beginning of the show, I guess you had Ole Miss as well last night?
No, I had Miami.
Yeah, Miami. All right. So you're happy for that call. I can't really say it's a big call.
I get what you're saying. How many times have we seen a Hail Mary or last minute throw it in the end zone, pros and college? When's the last time you've seen a penalty thrown? Never thrown. I get it. Yeah. Was it a penalty? Yes. But it happens all the time. They're never going to throw a penalty, just like they're never going to call foul in the NBA Finals, Game 7, with 3 seconds left. They don't want to end the game at the free throw line. So
Well, yeah, okay. Well, let's be honest. That was the Miami payback for when I had Miami against Ohio State, and they called a pass interference 7 seconds after the fact with the confetti drops and everybody's on the field, the game's over, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, to say, oh, you know what? No, it's first he says no, and he's like, wait a second, let me find my flag here. Yeah, no, they've done that before, Matt. So just zip it with that nonsense. That was a payback call. There you go, Miami. We owed you from the last Fiesta.
No, they don't make those calls. But like last night, like Miami, pretty much dominated the line of scrimmage from the beginning. It was an amazing fourth quarter. Miami should have won the game by more. They never should have even let Mississippi in it. They had 2 turnovers. The penalties killed them. Oh my God, the penalties! I think they had 10 for the game, and they had 2 personal fouls back to back. I think it was in the fourth quarter. And how many interceptions did they drop? Oh my goodness. They had 2 pick sixes they could have had, and a couple others that they just go right through the wickets. So I'm not saying Miami was the exact right side, but I just think in that instance, in that spot, you can't throw a flag. You just can't. I know your frustration. I get it. It was a penalty, 100%. But
I know right
we see it all the time.
If it would have been a never in doubter on X, I would have tweeted out in caps never in doubt, but I had no right even being in that game. That should have been like at least a 10-point game for Miami.
Sean, I get you on they don't throw a flag on the Hail Marys, and most times they're a pass that's up for grabs, and you see 7 guys up in the air going for the ball.
That was one-on-one.
Which is where you'll never see it, but it was a one-on-one call last night.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And like you said, like Miami should have won the game probably by double digits, if not, by more than a touchdown at least. But it comes on, like you said, coaching. Like 10 penalties, that's coaching.
Yep.
That's why I couldn't take them. And even that, listen, if they would have called that penalty, are they really going to get upset? Like, I mean, you had the guy's shirt at the 8-yard line and carried him into the end zone with that. That's
where was the pass thrown from? How long was the pass?
It was like 40-yard line, maybe.
All right. Well, it's a pass interference. They're only going to get 10 yards on the game. They're not going to be on the goal line.
So it would have been 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to throw another quasi Hail Mary pass.
But again, you put it on the 20. It's a different. You don't know. They'll put the time on the clock. They'll run an untimed play. Whatever. We turn the page. You're going to dwell on a loss or a win, or more losses we dwell on. You can't do it, folks. It's not healthy.
And one of the penalties was that targeting call on the cornerback. Who was it? Scott?
Oh yeah, who was that? Yeah, that was like targeting.
Like those targeting calls are so like arbitrary that it's going to affect Miami going forward. Like when a receiver catches the ball and he's going down, and the receiver or the quarterback's trying to make a tackle, he's going with his shoulder, and they hit helmets. They're going to call targeting on that. But he wasn't going after the helmet. And because it happened in the second half, he's suspended for the first half of the national championship, which is kind of unjust, but it is what it is. And just the targeting calls, they're just so arbitrary sometimes. Like, remember the one last year, Texas, Arizona State, where they didn't call it?
Yeah, it was clear like he came in head first, like spearing.
Yeah, that was targeting, and that one they didn't call. So it's just
an
arbitrary penalty.
If you're sideways, if your helmet is sideways or like this, it's not a targeting.
Yeah.
If they're going to use replay, get it right. You're going to slow the game down to nanoseconds, right? It's like, oh, the ball didn't cross the plane, or it's this and that.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to zoom in. Get it right.
Well, shouldn't targeting guys in its simplest form be that you're leading the tackle with your helmet, with your head?
Yes.
That's what targeting is. That was your main brunt, your main force that you used was your head on that tackle with the intent. Yep. So
if you're coming in shoulder sideways out, that's not a. Anyway, let's go. Let's see. I was going to go in game order, but we got Magic Marc coming in. He wants to do Niners talk. Let's jump into Niners in Philadelphia here. The line is up to a 5.5 from a 3.5. So something happened the other day. This line just kept climbing. I don't know if, some group released it to move it up a point and a half. Is
Well,
it
it's
no
all
Trent
about
Williams?
injuries, Sean. It's all about the Niners
I was
injuries.
gonna say it's got the Trent Williams not playing. It's got to be if he wasn't in a walkthrough on Wednesday, I'm sure that probably was the 100% why someone was like, let's move on this a little bit at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're in no man's land here, 5.5.
Yeah.
I got to say, Mark, and I said this to Matt before too, opening at 5.5, sign me up for the dog in those spots. It's just one of those numbers where I look at it as the book doesn't think this team's a touchdown better because they'd open it at like 6.5 or whatever, right? To lure you into favorite dog situations with 6.5s, and they don't think they're bad because it's at a 3.5. It gets bet up to this. This is a straight. Not that I want to follow the steam and just chase scrape the board here for numbers, but that's what this move tells me. It's Philly all the way right now. The injuries are a little bit more than people know about right now. They could say, well, these guys are questionable, probably going to play. I don't think they're playing for a 2-point line move on a Wednesday, Mark, right? I mean,
no, they're not. My main concern here is that San Francisco has really played well in Philadelphia. I think they won 5 of the last 6 straight up, cashed all those times. So the travel factor shouldn't really wear in on San Francisco here with Kyle Shanahan leading the way. San Francisco beat up Philadelphia up and down all football season long. Which Philadelphia Eagles team are we going to get? I think you got a big edge to the quarterback with Brock Purdy over Jalen Hurts in the football game. To me, I don't want to lay points into San Francisco. They're just too capable. And Philadelphia playing as poorly as they did in the stats and the yards this year, for all intents and purposes, practically a negative stat team on the season. I'm going to lean to San Francisco. I'm not going to make a big play. I don't even know if I'll reach to my pocket for the game. But I can understand where the money's coming into Philadelphia here, and it's coming in bigger than we thought it would be because large of those injuries.
Matt, I look at this as my heart wants to take the Niners. I'm getting points.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there. They talked a lot of crap. We could have beat you if we had Purdy 2 years ago in the championship game. He got hurt. We had to bring in 37-year-old Josh Freeman, the quarterback, and here's your chance. But my gambling gut tells me this line is on the move like this. This isn't Philly fans betting on a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. No, they're not doing that. This is more the bigger kind of. And maybe it's a head fake. Maybe it's like, let's just pump this up a little bit so we can grab the points here at 5, and it's going to crash back down to a field goal kind of game. I don't know. This is a tough one. I know people, we'll talk about the other games. The Bills are a 1-point fave. Pick them in the Green Bay game. But I think this one's a tough one to get a hold on. 3.5 from the gate, 3.5 up to 5.5.
Yeah, I didn't touch this game at all. It's I don't want to call it fishy, but it kind of is. Like it could be a big group coming in to bump it way up and then take the other side and then try to get a middle out of it, or it just could be the injury factor. This is not public money coming in, no doubt about it. Trent Williams is not going to play. I think that's almost guaranteed. And I think Lane Johnson has been cleared, which is a huge benefit for the Eagles. So. Those 2 tackles, are a huge difference for both sides. And we don't know what's up with Kittle. His ankle is not good. He was, 50% at best last week. Then they just have a bunch of other injuries on defense. But man, I just can't trust Philadelphia. I just cannot.
Now, how can you trust them, man? I mean, they allowed more yards than they gained on the season for the whole year.
Yeah.
And I think, what was it? Let me look real quick here at our newsletter here. Only 5 times did they win the yards in their 17 games. That's 12 times they were out-yarded on the football field there. I know I keep hitting on that and I keep chewing on that, but I do it because it matters.
It does.
The other team takes the field and knows that you can push the other guy around.
And maybe our guy behind the screen knows probably the Philly chatter is, have they been playing possum all year? Right? Like, let's just pull up, right? Let's just win some games. We'll get here. We'll win. We're better than these teams. We're in a crappy division. And now it's time to get out the razor blade, take off the bubble tape around the quarterback, around the running back. We're going to open things up a little bit and do our thing here and surprise Don't call an ambulance, but not for me. Like the little meme, the old man comes out with the gun, somebody has a knife.
I mean, that could be the case, but looking at last year, they went into the playoffs last year red hot. So you figure they want to do the same thing again to win a Super Bowl because that's how they did it last year. But maybe they have nagging injuries. Maybe that is a problem. And now maybe they're kind of resting a little bit, going into those last few games and be healthy into the postseason. But
listen,
right now, I cannot lay 5.5 is a dead number. Yeah, I get it, but I still can't lay that with the Eagles right now. Cannot.
They rested guys last week, knowing that if Chicago won, they drop a spot in the seeding too. They didn't even care.
Right.
I mean, Richard's coming in here. He's got a prop, but we could lead this into the Rams matchup here. Williams over 14 for rushing attempts versus the Panthers. He's got Jags money line here. So Rams action. I like both of these running backs, and I was saying the other day with Alex and Doug, we're talking about this game, and I mentioned like a Blake Corum anytime touchdown was plus like 185 or 190, and the Williams was minus 140. And he's like, you know what? If you just take them both straight up, at worst case you're splitting. Best case you're 2-up, almost 3 bills, and if one scores, you're even winning money. I don't mind the Williams. We're going to get some sloppy weather here.
Yep.
I think we'll get a combination of running backs. Corum's been getting a lot of action lately. I don't mind the rushing contempt prop here. And both of these defenses, I think they're a little questionable. And let's just talk about this game for a second, Richard. I'm going to throw it to Matt first here, Mark. Matt, 10.5, let's be honest. You see 10.5 to a team that already beats you 31-28. Your defense hasn't been all that great lately. The one side of me is like, it's Carolina all day. My gambling side again is like, this is the Rams by 17. Like, what are we doing here? 10.5 home dog, and I already beat you this year? How is this line like this, Matt? What do you think?
Yeah, back to the Williams. I'm just looking at his game log. That could be tight because Corum is getting a lot of work the last few weeks. So Williams has gone over 14.5 only 2 times in his last 9 games. So that might be a little tight, but with the weather, like you brought up, it's supposed to be raining like it was last week against Tampa. So that could lead to more carries overall. So they both could get extra work. As far as the game goes, I'm not touching it. Carolina's probably one of the worst playoff teams we've seen in a while, right? Based on just their numbers and their overall stats coming in. But I think I saw something about like home underdogs in the playoffs of more than 5 or 6 points have never lost. They've never not covered, which is a reason to take Carolina, but everything points to the Rams as far as numbers go. Everything. I mean, they're number 4 in EPA rushing, number 3 in EPA passing on offense. They're number 7 on defense, rushing and overall. They have what it takes, and I think they got right last week a little bit. It took them a little bit, but they got it, and they easily could roll, but the weather might slow them down a little bit. So.
That's a good point you bring up, man, about home dogs being sized like that side of the wall. We call this out in our newsletter that NFL home dogs on the blind since 1980 are 35-15 to the spread. Now, do you want to step in front of that? And if you do, you better have some ammunition. Dogs of more than 4 points, home underdogs, it's happened 6 times. They've won the money all 6 times.
Okay, 4 more. That's what I heard. Okay, yes, that's what I heard. Yep. What
that speaks to is the other team playing down to the level of opposition. In fact, if you go back and you look in the playoffs, sub 500 teams that don't have a winning record in the playoffs that are home underdogs, there have been 4 of them. They've won half of the games straight up, and they've gone 3-1 against the spread, which again goes to playing down to the level of opposition. The Rams laid the same number here when they got beat. 10.5. They're going to lay the same number here, the same time here. I say, I'll use that phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Give me a clothespin. Give me a big clothespin, Sean. I'll put it in my nose and I'll grab the points with Carolina.
Carolina, biggest home dog in the playoffs since Washington catching 10 points from Tampa Bay, and they covered that 31-23. So 10.5 biggest spread ever. And also you got to love the fact Carolina minus 69 points, point differential. Worse than the Giants, who 3 weeks ago were trying to get the number 1 seed against the Raiders. They have a worse point differential. You come in, and on top of that, we're talking hold your nose, you backed into the playoff spots. You lost your last couple games, and you got in because Atlanta beat the Saints.
Tiebreaker, right?
Look, some crazy-ass tiebreaker gets you in here.
Yeah, you lose 2 in a row, you're on the bubble, and you're in. It's like, wow.
Definitely the uglies here with that. You know what? Oh, my goodness. This is one. So
I know. I mean, that Carolina went over the Rams the first meeting. It was fluky. Like, they had, a pick six? Stafford threw an interception in the end zone.
They're very rare, but he did.
And Carolina had 2 fourth-down touchdown passes. So I think the yardage
fell their way.
The yardage was pretty close, from what I remember. 3, 4,
21 yards, right?
Yeah, it was pretty close. I mean, in the game in the slop, I take the home dog, and like the numbers Mark brought up about the home underdogs and ones that are more than 4 points never lost.
Why do you want to step in front of that?
Exactly. There's a reason for it. Right. Like, history is meant to be broken, but some cases it doesn't get broken.
Buffalo and the Jags. Bills 1.5. 51.5. Richard says he's got Jags money line. Magic Mar likes the Jags. So we'll come in here talking some Jaguars Buffalo. This game, sign me up on an under in this one. Sign me up. Put it right out here for everybody. 51.5. I know we're going to get into the rushing defense. Like, this great rushing defense for Jacksonville. I understand that. And they held Taylor and Genty and CMC and whatever. I think part of that's also because when you get out to a quick 20-0 lead, teams change their play calling. You also faced the Titans, who weren't that good. We're almost at the point where no one talking about the Jaguars blasphemy, Mark. The Bills, you lost at Miami, you lost at Atlanta, you lost at Houston. Now you're favored on the road versus the hottest team. Again, it's teams that are hot usually go cold in the playoffs. I can make arguments on either side. Would I be on the Jags in this spot based on how I saw the Bills play on the road? Absolutely. But show-wise, I'm going to say take the under here because the Bills are a run team first. They're going to want to run the ball. And I don't think
they're going to run it against the best rush defense in the league. Are they going to be successful? That's the question.
Yes, but how good is that rush defense when you jump out to a 23-3 lead over a team, right? And here's the thing with that, Mark. I don't think Jackson wants to get in a pissing contest with Josh Allen and have them like it's gonna be you're up. They had. I was watching the game. They're throwing 42-yard touchdown passes up 37 games. Like you're not gonna be throwing. This is not a team like we talk about we will talk about the Patriots schedule and the Broncos schedule, stuff like that. The Jag schedule isn't all that. I mean, you got wins over San Fran and Houston, and you crushed the Charger team, but every team's got a little flow, and you kind of, if you want to really pull out the microscope on them. I'm sorry to interrupt on that.
What you mentioned about Buffalo, why are they favored here? For the lousy play they've had. There's 3 words: name and reputation is what it is.
Yes.
Not certainly for the way they played this year. And do you think, will you give me 100 rushing yards in this game for Jacksonville? Do you think Jacksonville can post 100 rushing yards in the contest against this porous Buffalo rush defense? Almost the worst in the league. Well, if they do, 9 times this year, they've ran the ball for 100 yards or more. They won 8 of those games straight up. So if you tell me how Buffalo's going to stop this football team on the ground, and if you do and you convince me, good. But until Buffalo shows a sign, a little bit of a sign, you're giving up 50 yards, the better rushing defense in this game, to Jacksonville, the home dog, who, by the way, just happens to be the hottest team in the National Football League, 8-0 straight up in ATS coming in. Now they're rewarded by playing a game at home here. Put me down for the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I think that Super Bowl cape that Josh Allen's wearing is moth-eaten right now. And I don't think the team is the team that they've been in the past. I'll take the Jaguars.
Jags plus 105. I like it. Bills under 51.5. Gonna add anything to here, Matt, before you?
Josh Allen -1, -1.5. I get it. It's his team. It's gonna ride on him. And I lean Jacksonville. I didn't touch it, but I would lean Jacksonville. I would more lean to the under, for sure. During the wild card era, outdoor games that have a total of 41 or higher are 42-14 to the under. So, and this was at 51? I mean, people are expecting an offensive shootout here, but like both of you mentioned, these teams are going to run the ball.
Yep.
Jacksonville does not want to get into a shootout with Buffalo, because if Buffalo gets into a shootout, they saw what happened in New England. If they get into a shootout with Buffalo, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to want to run the ball as well. And and Mark said they'll be able to run it effectively against Buffalo, whose rushing EPA defense is number 31 in the NFL for a playoff team.
That's terrible.
It's horrible. Yes. Jacksonville the under.
Travis Etienne, by the way, 200-yard rushing games this year. Week 1, 143 yards versus Carolina. Then what's that? Week 4 versus San Fran, 124 yards. That's it. Nothing near there. 3 yards a carry. Is he going to get 100 yards, or is it going to be a combination of them? Actually, that would be more of the rushing yards. How about some Trevor Lawrence props here, guys? Right, take off a little scampering out of the backfield. He's been known to run a little bit.
What are his props at for rushing? Yeah,
you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have to look at that one. That would be an interesting look there for me. I'd look at for that. Hold on a second.
He looks like a giraffe on the loose when he runs the football.
He does. He really does.
Effective,
Here we go. Look at this. Now they want to play games with me here.
He's at 25.5.
Yeah, I see. It's giving me a problem because I don't have my VPN on here right now.
He is at DraftKings is at 25.5 -113 for the under. So
for his rushing,
yeah, he could get that in 2 runs.
I mean, he's usually good for like a 10-yard run right off the bat from somewhere.
Exactly. If he gets flushed out of the pocket, he'll definitely take off.
Well, I flashed it back to the Kansas City game. He had 50 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Like this, I could see him wanting to make something happen in a playoff game, right? And you're in a spot like this. Desperate's not the right word, but you want to win the game. You're going to sacrifice and do what you can. I can see him taking off a lot more. Like I'm going for it. I'm going.
It's definitely priced up, because if you look at his closing numbers for the previous 10 games, he's only had one that closed over 20 yards. All the overrunners were under 20, right around 18, 19.5. And he's going over that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 7, and 8 of his last 10. So he's gotten there, but it's been at a much lower total going into it. But against this defense, I could see him doing it.
We got a.
So we're gonna make Lawrence over rushing a best bet on the show here.
Let's go.
You could.
I could buy that.
What was it again? 20.5?
25.5. Yeah.
25.5. Trevor over. Yeah, I could see him. This is your season, right? You're a quarterback. You're gonna do those things. He did it against Kansas City, against a peer, right? A peer. Mahomes is probably a little better than Trevor Lawrence, but you're gonna want to shine here. Let's go. Playoffs at home versus Josh Allen, MVP kind of guy. Let's go, Trevor Lawrence. John Putnam, good to see you. Ducks, Hoosiers tonight. We didn't really touch this game. We were doing the football one, or NFL action. I don't know. I know it's a revenge spot. We've seen it, Mark, right? 4 times in the college football playoffs. Georgia over Alabama, Alabama over Georgia, Ohio State over Oregon, Notre Dame over Clemson in the playoffs. The revenging team from the regular season got revenge. And just in bowl games, I think it's a perfect 8 or 9-0. That being said, it's tough to go against the Hoosiers. I mean, they're businessmen like bunch here, Mark. They're just, we got a lunchbox, we got the persona of our coach. Nothing sexy, nothing flashy. We're just going to win the game. I had Oregon at home laying 10. It was a bad number against them. They went down to 7. I thought, you know what? Years of recruiting pays off here. Oregon's deeper, better. They manhandled them. What's changed?
Well, this Indiana team is for real. There's no refuting that. The question is, along the way to a championship, somewhere invariably you stub your toe and you get close calls scared. The question to me is this game against Oregon, a team that could, for all intents and purposes, represent the national champion of college football this year, and in a great way. They're a really, really solid football team, fundamentally, athletically, very well coached. So is this the game that Indiana stubs its toe? All I know is Oregon, as an underdog against Big Ten opponents, the last 12 times, they've only lost the spread 1 time. Now they're being sort of like dissed on, if you will, per se, because it's Indiana. And I just think there's just too much spotlight, too much shine on Indiana in this game. That's my thought. I would lean to taking the points here.
Wow. All right. I mean, I look at it, Matt, they played a tough game, a close one. And it was against upstart Penn State with no coach and no quarterback. And you know what? Mendoza came in, made the plays in that game. Against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Nail-biter slugfest, made the plays. Against Oregon, made the plays. At Alabama, he didn't even have to make plays. I mean, they just rolled over that squad like it was, Alabama A&M. It wasn't even Alabama Crimson Tide. What do you think? Be the tiebreaker on here. We're opposites.
How about we go the under? We talked about this on Tuesday.
That's a real good call, Matt. Yeah.
I just think like the rematch, they got to see each other once already. They've seen each other a few times since then. I think Oregon's going to run the ball a lot more. We talked about this the other day, Sean, that, the running backs, they only ran the ball, I believe, 16 times with their 3 backs, and they gained 6.4 yards per carry. But I think they're going to run the ball a little bit more this time. And they're going to play a little closer to the vest. And they don't want to get into a shootout. And both defenses are really good. Like Indiana, we all know is very good. Oregon has a solid defense as well. And, Mendoza, he's a great quarterback. We all know that. But I think this is going to be a game. It's going to be a game like we saw last night until we saw the explosive fourth quarter where it's just going to be a low-scoring slugfest. And the fact that the total is
48 and it's gone up.
It has gone up. It's gone up 2 points the last 2 days. So, yeah, I like the under in this game.
Indiana's strength, guys, is their scoring defense. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Everybody, opponent except one, they held a season low point production. That's unbelievable. And we talked about it a little bit earlier before because they play this umbrella zone defense. They won't allow any big plays. It all fits in the way Matt's looking at this game for a total here. And again, this deep into the season, the pressure gets there and defense wins football games. I think it's a great call for Matt to the under in this game.
This is going way back about the ref call at the end of the game, man. They don't call them. Magic Mark. All right, we're talking the Niners injuries. Trent Williams is playing. Purcell's out. And Kittles will play, huh? All right. I like Towns.
Williams is playing. Well, he'll be out. He'll be out in the first quarter probably.
I like Jennings. I
knew Kittle was good. I knew Kittle was going to play, but he just didn't look. I mean, it's been a week, obviously, but he just did not look good last week. And I don't know if it's a high ankle sprain; those are hard to come back from.
Mars, he loves his Niners. Look at this, pulling out 42-19. Well, here's the thing. That was their I'm going to pay you back for the championship game. So now it's not another championship game, but playoff game. Maybe the Eagles got the chip on their shoulder because you embarrassed them in that spot. Panthers, well, we covered that one. It's an ugly one. It's an ugly one. Eagles aren't the same. Here we go. That's from the Nevada Marek. He likes the Niners as well. Bills Super Bowl future. Out of Danny, we do not like it. I don't like it. I mean, we took the Jags and we got a player prop on the show on Trevor Lawrence. So rain in Carolina, Indiana. I like Indiana. I get it, Mar. Indiana, Miami game. Now, we're not going to get into hypotheticals. We got other games we got to talk about first. All right, so let's move on to Green Bay, Chicago. I know this one here, I was kind of torn on it to begin with. The line has totally flip-flopped all the way around, Mark. Green Bay 1.5 now, 44.5. They were a 1.5-point dog. It makes sense to me. Now, I know your phrase is the leaking oil team.
Yes.
4 straight losses. The last game, you sat everybody. Let's throw that one out the window a little bit. You had Malik Wilson there, not your other quarterback. Okay, it happens. The Bears, I don't think, are any better shakes. They've lost 2 in a row. They could have easily lost 3 of their last 4. They beat Cleveland. Their win over Green Bay, that crazy overtime. Talk about a fugazi-ass win. You somehow get an onside kick when you tell the team you're going to kick it to them. I mean, talk about a crazy fluke. We talked about earlier in the show about LaFleur. I got an experienced guy who may or may not be on hot seat, but he's won playoff games before. I got a quarterback who's won a playoff game. I got a rookie head coach, and for all intents and purposes, a rookie quarterback who took a good step forward. I'm not knocking. I had the under. They made me look like an idiot. That being said, I've seen this, and I don't really run on just trends like this, but I'm all for young quarterbacks making mistakes. 20-39-1. First quarterback starts for a rookie, second year, whatever. Quarterbacks first starts versus guys who made starts before. 20-39-1 ATS and 20-40 straight up. It's a learning curve. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. Bears fans, you're going to lose to Green Bay, who's 19-1 against you guys the last 20 games? They own you. The line moved. Come on. Green Bay.
Sean, although that numbers are good and they perk my ears because they're really, really strong numbers, I think the ones that you didn't mention that maybe were skipped past, I think are worth mentioning.
No.
No?
Bears fans.
How about since they went to a 7-team seed playoff, number 7 seeds have only won 1 time. They're 1-10 straight up. You've got Green Bay in here on these 4 losses in a row. Only 2 teams have entered the playoffs on 4 losses in a row. They both got straight up and ATS losses, and they got shellacked. Chicago comes in here off back-to-back losses, 2 losses exact. Teams who are in off 2 losses exact are 15-3 straight up and 14-5 to the number. And you mentioned Jordan Love playoff experience. Yes, but he's only won 1 game. I'm going to back the Bears here. I'm a big Ben Johnson fan here, and I think they're buying Ben Johnson in a big way in Chicago here. So until Green Bay shows me that they are the Green Bay Packers who won a lot of games early in the football season as opposed to disappeared in the end here, I'm going to be on the other side of the field with you in this game, Sean. I'll be on the Chicago Bears.
Well, the good news is the other day we gave out the Bears under 44.5. Maybe you get on board with that one. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, let's go with the under. It's that same stat, 42-14 to the under. I would lean Green Bay because of Jordan Love was number 2 in the NFL this year in EPA per play for all quarterbacks. Williams is number 19. Sean, you brought up the stat about rookie playoff quarterbacks against veteran playoff quarterbacks. I think it's pretty important. And the one thing that wasn't touched upon is how lucky Chicago was this year at times. They won 6 games when they trailed under 2 minutes. First team in NFL history to do that. So even if they lost half of those games, where would they be right now? They would not be where they are in the playoffs. So very lucky team. I think the line move is legit. And I would lean Green Bay here. But I do like the under.
All right. Under it is 44.5. This is it. Chargers and New England. I see a little Charger coming for John. Pat's on upset alert. You're not going to get any argument from me on this one. Again, they got a young quarterback, not a new head coach. But we got playoff head coach here. We got a good head coach, and Herbert, folks. The guy is 0-2 in the playoffs. His team's given up over 60 points in those 2 games. In both games, there was like 30-plus points by each. It wasn't like just one crazy block. The defense was not there. Outscored, I believe, 46-9 in the second half of those games. That is all Staley, the old coach. Totally not Harbaugh. As an underdog, he's got terrible numbers, Herbert does, but not under this guy. Last week's game, they sat out. They sat some guys. They said, we'll go play New England. We don't care. Matt, I know you have it. Or Mark, one of you guys are going to have it. Strength of schedule. Who these guys – who have the Chargers beat this year? They beat Carolina, 49. Carolina, a under 500 team who got into the playoffs because another team beat somebody else. You got a tiebreaker. You beat the Bills once, and they spotted you a 21-point lead, and you couldn't hold on to it at home. Where's the convincing win here that tells me that the New England Patriots are a 3.5-point favorite here? Again, and this is the Charger team's got their own set of flaws, but I think they're a little more balanced offensively. And I'm with you. I'm with you, John, on the Pats on upset alert. I'll go to Matt Fargo first on this one.
Yep, I agree with that. You bring up the point about they beat Buffalo, then they lost to Buffalo. So the easiest schedule in the NFL by far, it was the third easiest schedule based on opponent performance since 1978. They beat no one this year. Now, excuse me, it's no fault of their own. The schedule is given to them. It is what it is. And they've beaten the teams they're supposed to beat. But, coming into the postseason, you don't know. I don't know what we're going to get. And you bring up the rookie quarterback thing again. And, the only other team with a winning record that they beat was who was it? Oh, no, nobody.
That was kind of hard to find that, Sean. I mean,
right.
Nobody.
So besides Buffalo, the best team they beat was Carolina, who finished 8-9. So I love Vrabel. I really do. I think he's a great coach. I think he's brought culture into this system. I think he's done a great job. I like May, but give me the points. I think the Chargers are live dog in this game, so I'd sprinkle the money line as well.
And listen, I hate 3.5s. I want to take favorites, Mark. I want to take favorites at 3.5, 7.5. I do. I usually like that because they're trying to entice me. But again, you beat who? You beat the Bills. All right, whatever. You beat Baltimore. Baltimore was beating you until they lost their quarterback. Where else we going with this team?
Well, let me share this with you guys. We talked an awful lot all season long about New England and this weak schedule that they've played, and indeed they have. There's 2 teams in the National Football League this year that went up against the most backup starting quarterbacks in the league. They both happen to be the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the AFC. New England went up against 5 backup starting quarterbacks, won every game. Blasted them in the stats every game, which kind of puffed their numbers up. Denver's the other guy. He won 6 games against backup quarterbacks. So you got the top 2 seeds in the AFC sitting where they are, probably benefited a lot by playing backup starting quarterbacks. Then you've got also in this game, what are you doing with New England here? You're taking them from a 4-win team last year and making them the number 2 seed in their division playoffs, in their run of the playoffs. My database, I went and queried that. Teams that won 4 or fewer games the previous year in their first playoff game the next year, they are 6-10 straight up and 3-13 to the spread, having to answer the bell from last year to this year against quality opposition. You're asking a lot here for who was the most improved team in the National Football League last year. They improved from 4-13 this year to 14-3. That's a plus 10 net wins to New England here, and that almost always bites you in the playoffs. I think we make New England a best bet here, guys. I think we all agree New England has to be the side in this. I mean, the Chargers have to be the side in this game.
There we go. LAC plus 3.5. We also like the under 46.5 the other day. Now, Sandu brings up a good point here, but here's the problem with this. They finished last. Niners finished last. Bears finished last. Patriots finished last because they're bad. Chicago finished last because they're bad. San Fran finished last because of injuries. San Fran finished last because they had a first-place schedule, and they went to the championship game, and from the opening of training camp, and they were losing guys to contract disputes and then injuries. I clearly remember this because I believe, the Jets in week 1 against the Niners. That was a Monday night game. I don't think they ended up covering there. But CMC goes out for the year or something in that game. Like, no one heard a peep about it. 4 minutes before kickoff, CMC's got some kind of injury, and he's out for – don't put San Francisco in this conversation. San Francisco's not a bad team, hence which is why they're playing for our home field last Sunday, and they were a home field the year before that. No. You want to put maybe the Bears in that category with who they kind of played? All right, with the Patriots, not San Francisco. San Francisco does not get to be put in that category. No, right? Am I wrong on that one with San Francisco?
No, you're right on that. Absolutely, you're right on that. All injuries last year. They're a mission team this year. They missed the playoffs for the first time in 3 years last year because of those injuries. But
it wasn't like they were coming in as a 7 seed, Mark. They were the 1 or 2 seed in those things. They were division winners.
Yes, they were. Yeah, they were on top of the totem pole there.
Yeah.
But look at the comparative line in this football game here. New England hosted Las Vegas this year, and they laid 2.5 points. Mm-hmm. Now they're hosting the Chargers, and they're laying 3.5 points. I think something's amiss there. I don't understand this line. I really, truly don't. And I really thought this game was going to come New England 1 or 2, but you're looking at 3.5. You're getting that half point over the juicy number here. So I think there's a lot to like about the Chargers in this football game.
In that Raider loss, when they lost to the Raiders.
And lost, yes.
I had the Raiders that day, and that was more of I got Pete Carroll, and I got Geno Smith, kind of veteran guys, versus Vrabel with his new quarterback who's a second year, like where they're still kind of getting to know each other and feeling each other out, beginning of relationship. I thought it was a good spot for a veteran coach looking to let's do the old change the culture kind of crap coming out of Vegas, right? We need a win. We're going to come in here, fight. The 3.5, I actually thought it'd be a little higher. I thought the love for New England would punch it a little higher. Like, honestly, right? You got a Charger team that hasn't done anything in years. As I brought up, that's because you had who's your old coach. But I'm with the 3.5. I am concerned though, Mark, with the 3.5. 3.5, 7.5. I kind of like, ugh. If it was a 3 and went to 3.5, I'd be like, that's fine. Opening at it, I was hesitant to take it, but I don't care. Actually, there was a 4 out there earlier, so it has moved a little bit. There was a 4 on this game.
You've got experience here also to Jim Harbaugh in the playoffs, guys.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5-4. He's won 5 of his 9 games. Unlike Mike Vrabel, who comes in here 2-3 in his 5 playoff games, favored once, lost the whole game. Just a lot of boxes to check here as we keep talking deeper and deeper about this football game.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. As I said, I love Vrabel, but I think Harbaugh is I think it's affecting the line a little bit. I think it's a little bit shaded because of him, because of Harbaugh factor.
Yep.
Let's recap a bunch of games. We'll get out of here. First, if you haven't already stuck around for an hour plus, awesome. Hit that like button, notification bell on, because we'll be back next week for the divisional round. We'll talk about it, so you don't miss that show. Plus all the free pick videos, Chip Trimmis and the Vegas Legends on the weekends, and of course Monday to Thursday, free picks daily. Our best bets are at gamblersworld.net. Go get them. 125 for the NFL deal. But honestly, that's straight NFL. That's a great package. If you get a 30-day package, not only is it guaranteed, you'll get the Super Bowl and everything else in between, every other sport. That's a little you break it down wallet size, it's a lot better for you per play as we do that. But that'll be about wrap it up. Mark, for the weekend, I'm sure you have something lined up. We do have some wild card action we talked about in case anybody missed it. What are your best bets?
Yeah,
at
I've
this
got
week?
3 big plays posted at Gamblers World here right now as we speak here, Sean. One of them happens to be my 5-star NFL playoff game of the year. And we are 8-1 on 4- and 5-star NFL playoff games the last 4 years. This is a play you're not going to want to miss.
There you go. Go get it at gamblersworld.net from Mark Lawrence. GOYs. Make the smart money move. Don't miss out. Matt Fargo, what do you got going on here for the weekend, or even just tonight? We got the Peach Bowl. I don't know, college hoops. The guy's Mark about the college hoops, so maybe you get some college hoops.
Yep. Like Mark, I have 3 plays in the NFL this weekend. One Saturday, one Sunday, one Monday. Peach Bowl winner tonight, and some college hoops and NBA tonight. And it'll be a big college hoops card tomorrow. My gosh, 150 games we have to look at.
150 games tomorrow.
Woo.
150 games. Oh my God. I haven't started basketball yet, guys. I'm going to start next week. So I'm just hearing Matt saying what he's saying, 150 games, and I'm like shaking, like, okay, here we go. We got to get into it now.
150 games. Yeah.
16 like this.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to do a printout of the games. I'm just going to kind of I'm going to have to kind of zone in. I'm going to kind of look at, I think it'll be like this small school day. Small school extra games tomorrow for me only, I think. I'm going to try to narrow it down. But then all of a sudden I'm going to have 13 picks probably. So Pete's Bowl up for me, Monday Night Football, weekend college hoops, gamblersworld.net for all of our best bets. Gentlemen, good to see you as we wind down a nice season here of winning on the show and with the chat. We appreciate everybody coming in, but we still got we got more time coming, so be sure to come back next week for the divisional round. Matt, Mark, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck this weekend.
Good luck.
Hey, best of luck to everybody. Good luck, Matt, this weekend.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.